Kia ora, good evening. You're here with Boys Get Paid, coming at you live from the Next Advisory Beer Garden studio. Gee whiz, Dan, you've done a great job there, mate. We're not in the ACC Beer Garden studio, but you've got the intro music and all sorts. Bloody good work. Good to have everybody out there with us. We've got myself, Luke, Dan down in, we'll call it Karaka and the Goat. Goodness knows we're in the middle of New Zealand to come and join us for 10 minutes or so and have a chat about the Punters Club for the weekend. Good to have you lads with us. Get your comments flowing in, people. We will get into the counties races this week as well, and of course, there's a meeting from Whanganui, so we'll go through that later on the show. But to kick things off, clearly it's been a tricky week for a number of people, and I'll probably hand it over to you, Luke, mate, because probably none more so than you.
Yeah, look, she was a tough 3 days down there in the beautiful city of Christchurch. I got to be honest, we had a great time, and it was awesome to be a part of Cup Week. And it looks like Cup Week's been a massive success for the industry, and to be able to play some role in that, including with the Greyhounds, I think they had a 40% increase in their turnover. We had people come to our events. The economy's tough out there, but to see people out and enjoying racing in some testing, punting and weather conditions, it's always good to see. It looked like we were going to end up with a heavy track there at one stage. We were talking abandonments. We were talking, half of a race card and what we're going to be racing on. And all of a sudden the sun was out and people were just fair ripping into it, which was, it was great. But yep, the Punters Club didn't go our way. The dogs we're off to a flyer, and then we come a little bit unstuck on the Friday. Rackman might have some thoughts on that before we get to myself and the Goat for Saturday.
Yeah, funny enough, I finally brought myself to go back and have a look at the race replays, which, it's been a long time since I went back and had a look through race replays after a whole week. But yeah, I've just been sort of buckled, eh? But yeah, like there was just some that were just really, I don't know what happened. I think what sort of really started to derail us was when Wine Light. I think that was quite early on, and like it got on the score up. And actually, the one on the outside of it, on the replay they showed the top vision view, and the horse drawn barrier 2 actually came across on it, and which caused it to gallop. But that race probably should have been a false start, because the one that was behind it was heavily impeded, and they hadn't gone yet when it galloped. So I don't know. I mean, that's just a little bit unlucky, because we only need that one to run top 4, I think. And then that went into Kiang Zahara, who kicked their heads in by 9 lengths in the next, which, probably could have changed things a little bit. And then, I don't know. The other one I looked at today was the other one of Mark Purden's. Oh God, I can't remember its name now.
Chase a Dream.
No, it wasn't Chase a Dream. It was the mares in the mares race. It's got a funny name.
Not Vesson.
No, that was in the last. But God, I can't remember its name now off the top of my head. But no, but it ended up in the 1-1 and was traveling quite nicely. But then when they weren't going super quick time, and then when it had a horse came up 3 wide, and it had an opportunity to maybe pull out then, and Blair decided to stay in, and yeah, it was probably a certainty beaten at that point, because it actually never really got a run. It tried to duck to the inside to get a run. There was no run there. Went back to the outside to get a run, and by that stage, like, the race was all over. And then, Chase a Dream was a little bit of a funny one as well. Like, just, better knuckle up, had the momentum on the outside. It, maybe didn't take the gap at the right time. Maybe the leader just held it up a little bit. Like, it wasn't far off. And then, God, Vessam, I don't know what's happened there, because like all the money was for it. It was $6 into I don't even know what it started, like $2.70 or something like that, maybe even less than that. Like, it was just getting absolutely hammered from everyone left, right, and center. So it led, like, it went pretty quick. I think a lot of the feedback from a lot of the people that I've spoken to in the harness community, that like whatever it was on the day, you needed to have cover. Like, I think Kiang Zahara might have been the only horse to win from the park position, but I just think that horse is a freak. So I think that sort of really, that really summed it up. But it was pretty. was pretty demoralizing leaving the harness at 8:35 p.m. or whatever on Friday night. It was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was cold, and yeah, we hadn't had a collect, which made it tricky. I think, did we hear from the TAB throughout the week that that's been their best margin day? Is that how they would announce it, Goat?
Yeah, so the gross betting margin, it's about 15, 16%. They expect on a normal fixed odds meeting to return maybe 12 or 13%. That particular meeting at Addington, it was 37%. So for every dollar spent on the fixed odds markets on that meeting, they only paid out 63 cents in the dollar. Best ever yield on any harness meeting ever in New Zealand.
Wow.
Interesting.
$1 as well.
Yeah, interestingly, similar stats for Thursday, Ashburton as well.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Well, we could have picked a tougher day to be running a punters club at the harness by the sounds. But, I think as punters, we've got to be realistic. When you try and bet over 3 days, you're increasing your chances that you're going to get beat, because as we know, punting's always a bit of fun and things go wrong. It's like cleaning up at the casino one day and thinking, right, I'm going to go back the next, and the exact same thing's going to happen. And all of a sudden you walk out of there break even for the 2 days and you think, well, why did I go back there? So I think we knew what we were getting ourselves into going into the 3 days. And I think, we had a great time a couple of years ago, and it made for a fair bit of hype and excitement and whatnot. But this year just wasn't our year. And then obviously we get to the gallops on Saturday, Goat, and it was our time to shine. And there wasn't much sunshine.
No, and probably in hindsight, and it's funny how things affect you. So I probably arrived an hour before the first race, got out of the car, and a very heavy shower hit, and you're getting wet, and you're thinking, oh, how's this going to affect the track? You're thinking, oh, that track's going to downgrade. It was very obvious even before the first race. The talk was the inside part of the track would be off, where they'd sort of used it over the first couple of days. So you're thinking inside barrier draws an issue, look for horses outside. And for a start, that seemed about right. And then I think throughout the day, the sun came out, the track dried up faster than we thought, and we didn't adapt. And that's just life, I guess, in terms of you got a lot of things going on. You got a lot of variables that you're trying to weigh up. And we didn't adapt quick enough to look at the patterns and whatnot. And we got our butts kicked. But hey, that's the way it goes. I think on the whole, probably 95% of the people that had money invested in the Punters Club enjoyed the experience. They had 3 days of entertainment for their average spend, I think, was about $60 per person. So they all had a good time. They're pretty much hardened soldiers. They know the ropes and they go with the flow. You get a few newbies coming in that maybe don't understand the BGP ethos, get annoyed. These guys are idiots. We could do better ourselves. Why are we wasting our money? They're wasting our money. They don't care. Well, none of that's true. And I can safely say the people involved had more skin in the game than anyone else. 100% guarantee that. So we lost our money, not just your money. We lost our money. But that's the way it goes. We accept that, and we'll front up again next time, try and learn and do a better job.
Yeah, I think, as punters, we got short memories, right? You gave us an $11 shot the weekend before and said, if you want some money for the Punters Club, here you go, the entertainer. And a lot of people have effectively had a free shot at the Punters Club. And then on the Saturday, you guys have all tipped a winner as well. And people have backed those. And a lot of them were, $2 plus, etc. So I think, like with a Punters Club, everybody's an expert on the other side of it, and it's all very easy and simple what you should have done. But most people who are commenting or who tell you what you should have done have never run a punters club. So they don't actually know what it's like to be in the shoes of people trying to make the selections, where if we go, righto, go, your best bet's Texas Dolly, it's $2.45 into $1.80 now. We've missed the price. It is what it is, but let's just back it because it's your best bet. Okay, great. But we weren't, enjoying the price given how the track was looking. And then you look like a dick on the other side for not backing it, right? But if we put 50 grand on that and it gets beat, then, or if it wins, it's, oh, why'd you put 50K on a favourite? Or that's all, they just back the favourites. If it gets beat, then it's like, why did you tie up half of the pool, on a $1.80 shot? What were you thinking? Oh, it was clear that it was never, and so when you're doing these selections, there's not much winning because there's always someone who's going to suggest there was something else that, you could have done or would have done differently. But I mean, from my side, I think we had the bets that we wanted to have. I think we would have come unstuck anyway. We liked Herbert. We liked Jet Lau. Ted really, really liked those. And we would have been, if we were winning, we would have been having a big crack. And I think, the best possible outcome probably would have been break even for the Punters Club, because if we were flying, we still would have been having a go at Herbert and Jet Lau. And I think Herbert was 18 into 5 and still got beat. I thought we were a bit unlucky with the Quinella. We liked Mystic Park. We liked Platinum Attack. We couldn't split them. We go the Quinella. Platinum Attack ends up $5 favourite, solid betting, and just doesn't run up to expectation. And then you're still kind of beaten. But we put the same bet on when we pick one instead of the other. And look, if Platinum Attack wins, then great. But if Mystic Park wins, then same result as the Quinella, So it is tough. And I think it's easy, watching from the outside. I guess I put my hand up for the LJ bet. I thought that LJ, there was something about LJ, and I thought maybe it could defy history. But again, on the other side, of course, it's 60 kilos. It's not going to, win over 3,200 meters, etc. But I just kind of thought, Damien Myers, LJ, maybe that is the horse to do it. But like I say, everything is easier on the other side of it. But that's not the circumstances that we're facing at the time, right, Goat?
Exactly. And context, we just talked about the TAB having a cracker at Addington on the Friday. Well, the previous Saturday, the first day of the carnival at Riccarton, okay, we put the entertainer out as a blessed bet option. They paid out $200,000 on that option and paid out another $300,000 just on the normal fixed odds option. Now, of course, not all of those people backed that horse because it was tipped on BGP. Far from it. But $500,000 was paid out on that one horse winning, and yet we're copping it because we lost $235,000 across 3 days. It's just swings and roundabouts. But when you're dealing with these numbers, and of course, no one's used to lobbing 20,000 on a horse. No one. So we become easy targets because when they don't win, well, I thought you guys were professionals, rah-de-rah-de-rah. You shouldn't be spending 2% of your bank on, or more than 2% on your bank. Well, that means we need to have minimum 40 bets, because what's the point of people putting money in the Punters Club if we don't even effectively use that money? 235 grand and we spend 100,000. We've seen Punters Clubs like that in the past, and it's just an embarrassment. So of course we're going to use the money that's in there, because that's why it's in there, for us to have a go. So anyway, we're still positive about it. We look forward to crack a million, and we'll go again, and hopefully we'll get a good result. But if we don't, I'm sure we'll still provide plenty of sizzle, and hopefully some sausage.
There were a couple that stood out for me that I thought could have, that were close. I feel like you guys were right there or thereabouts on a few there on Saturday, which could have turned it around. Like, you guys didn't mention Twain at Tauranga, which obviously was Ted's best bet, and we had a same race multi with Fancy Pants, who was 100 meters into the race got absolutely smashed at the back of the field and was no chance of getting into it. You don't have that luck. You mentioned the Mystic Park stuff, and then there was Insatiable, as well, who should just have won that race and got nailed by a head. And that would have paid 200 grand or something like that, you know? So I really do feel like it wasn't that far away from maybe not making a whole lot of money, but at least getting the money back from Friday, you know?
Mm. Yeah, it was a bit tough. I mean, I kind of tossed up between the two Tiaco runners there, and it just, we've gone the wrong way, but I think we were steered the right way. But again, like, just shows you don't know. You don't know until the race is over. I think as well, like, you know, we had Gigi, we got sixes, and the horse runs second, and then we're copping emails. Oh, you should have known that wasn't going to win. It's like, oh, okay. Like, people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, you know, like the shit we have to put up with. But, you know, if that wins, it's like, wow, that's paid 250 and those boys have got on at sixes. Outstanding bet. But just nothing was quite falling our way. We really liked, both myself, Ted, and the goat liked Kitty Flash. And that horse just raced too keenly. And we would have been, if we were winning more, we would have been having an even bigger crack at that. So again, we would have come unstuck there. We probably would have gone each way or even top four. So again, like, we still would have got beat.
We actually talked to Andrew Forsman about Kitty Flash after the race, and he was just saying it was, he didn't expect that to happen, just too keen.
Yeah. I just want to address this because, like, I see this sort of bullshit a bit. There's a comment there, you know, now that the BGP has been absorbed by the TAB, it's not the clearest who everyone is actually working for. BGP hasn't been absorbed by the TAB. The TAB and BGP have always had a relationship where we're saying, how can we be doing more in the industry? What sort of partnership can we have? Now that Entain understand how content works, how, you know, people like to punt, how it can be social, they're looking at it going, wow, like, how are we not supporting you guys previously? What else can we be doing? Yep, great. Like, what can we do to magnify what you're doing? So, you know, for people to come along and go, oh, you're working for the tab or whatever, it's just tiring because people don't understand. Like, Matt's taken days off of work via annual leave, for instance. We've got an app that we have to update. We've done X amount of content. We're flying down to Christchurch. I'm taking time away from my family. I'm taking time away from my work and that sort of stuff. And that's the sort of stuff in the background that people probably take for granted when they're sitting typing on their keyboard, kind of going, oh, shit, you guys are fucking useless and all of that stuff. And we're sitting there going, well, I'll tell you what, mate, we could just turn it all off. But that's probably what negative people want, right? Like, that's what they want to see happen. So, you know, no, the TAB hasn't absorbed BGP or whatever. And there was someone earlier that sort of said BGP's for mugs. Like, great, unfollow, carry on, go be negative somewhere else. That's not the sort of people that we ever envisioned having in a punters club at our events or on our live stream. So just carry on with your life. No one's going to miss you.
And to say there are some really great comments coming through as well at the same time, and there have been over the last few days as well. There are a whole bunch of great people out there who have really enjoyed what you guys have been doing for the last few years in terms of these punters clubs. That's why people keep coming back, right? And the same thing will happen with Karaka Millions. The same thing's going to happen, and you guys are going to turn $1 million into, I've increased it from 5 to 10 million, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to note that that, like, because there's been quite a few of those messages coming through, like, where, oh, how much are the TAB paying you guys? Like, you know, you guys are just working for the bookie now, blah blah. Like, if we're working for the bookie, why why is the goat giving us boosting an $11 shot and the TAB's having to pay out 500 grand, and they're knocking on our door saying you can't keep doing that because we're going to run out of business. Like, our incentive is to get everyone paid 100% all the time. Like, I'd love nothing more than seeing a horse that I've tipped or like that you guys have tipped. Like, that's actually probably the most enjoyable thing about any of this is seeing one of the guys' best bets winning.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think part of it too is that people who don't understand BGP, who may just come across it. Oh, is the Ted gone? I mean, sorry, goat gone. You know, they may. There was talk like, oh, you're professional or semi-professional punters. It's like, no, we're not. Like, this isn't. We're not trying to pretend that we're anybody that we're not. It's all a bit of fun.
That's what I was wondering. You work about 400 hours a week on your own job, let alone looking at the punt. You know,
Yeah.
Like, there's no professional punters around here. Fuck, I wish.
Yeah. But you know, there's punters giving a crack at punters clubs in Australia. Go fly over there and join those, and they still get beat as well. Go help yourself.
Yeah. One of the other things, that I seen it been mentioned a few times was like people saying, "Oh, how come the Gallops guys didn't back any of the best bets?" Which I guess is a bit of a valid point, but I guess probably the main thing with that, and this is the way that I look at it, and obviously no disrespect to you, Matt, and I'm obviously downing myself here as well, but like we have a live leaderboard for return on investment from all the guys, and guess who's 1, 2, and 3? It's like the goat and Timmy's. And then a very, very long way down the list is me and Matt. And so like even though we put out our best bets every week, it doesn't like you three are the ones that make the decisions and choose what to bet on and stuff like that. And every now and then me and Matty find a nice winner. But that's by no means a guide to what you should be betting on with tens of thousands of dollars in a punters club.
Yeah.
And I guess people should probably understand that, like what I choose, I'm sorry, I don't want to speak for you, Matt, but like what I choose is definitely not like, this is good advice. I think that we should spend $30,000 on it. It's a throw at the dashboard.
I second that. I would never, ever try and nudge one of my best bets being run. In fact, I'd actively discourage it.
Yeah, and like, look, we can't back everything. And like I say before, it's easy in hindsight because they win, right? And then you're like, shit, okay, what were we doing there, etc. And it's like, oh, we could have just multied them all and whatnot, and we'd be mega millionaires. But you just don't know that until afterwards as well. And I think when you are running a punters club too, you're sort of balancing the prices that you're getting, and then how much you're having to put on, and then what the strategy is later in the day. So you're not just sort of thinking about you're thinking a lot longer than just like, right, we like that, let's have a go. And sort of, but then you come unstuck, and it's like, oh, if we lose early as well, people forget. Then it's like, oh, well, you didn't save anything for the good races. You didn't save anything for the cup. And a lot of our best bets were very early in the day. And like a couple of them obviously were at Tauranga. So then there's the, oh, well, like, why are you backing them at Tauranga when, you're down there for cup week, etc. So there's a bit to juggle. But look, it just, at the end of the day, we got a hiding, and it wasn't to be, and we got to turn the page.
I think at the end of the day, lads, it's a punters club. It's people putting some money in to have a bit of fun and hopefully win. And before I get back on the road, I'll leave you. You just got to look at the big picture.
Hey.
And we've had in racing, we've had tragedies in the last month. People dying, and we had another good mate drop dead this week. That's what we should be worried about, not losing some money for people in a punters club. So just remember, look at the big picture, and you'll be right. I'll hit the road now, boys. Go well.
Cheers,
Goat.
Sorry to hear about your loss, Goat. I didn't mean to laugh when he was talking about the big picture, but people in the show might realise what we're talking about later on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the Goat's just fresh out of the Karaka sales. He's just brought a horse, so he's got plenty of skin in the game. I think this finally as well, the one thing that, like, I think we were trying to bring a lot of content throughout the few days as well. And I guess, we sort of spoke about this where there was a little bit of commentary around, oh, it looks like you guys are down there just on a boys trip pissing up and like you don't really care. Look, it might look like that via the content, and we're just as we said on one of the live streams, just as kind of hurt as you guys are when these harness things aren't going well, or when the gallops, insatiable's just getting beat, and it's like we're going through exactly what you guys are. And I, like the Goat said, I can promise you that we've got plenty of skin in the game in that punters club, and we're still trying to make it an entertaining few days that you can follow along. Like, it would be very easy to get down there and just put some bets on and kind of hide and then go like we're not there, but we're trying to do social updates, app updates, videos, reels, Facebook. We're getting up at 8 a.m. doing podcasts, keeping people updated. We're going on trackside, all sorts of stuff, like that as well. So there's a lot more to it, but we're not down. The Goat doesn't drink, Fitzy doesn't drink. We were all very in control, and that's probably the bit that people probably don't see. And then I think probably even like one of the lessons from my side too is like same race multis, and whenever we complicate it, whether it's a Quinella, same race multis and stuff, unless they hit, I think they're hard for people to get excited about, because they sort of go, well, Twain won, but then we need this fancy pants. Why don't you just back Twain? So even though we might like the price or the value in our eyes, it's it's not as exciting for the person sitting at home because they're then having to try and make sense of, okay, what 2 horses do I need to, oh, this is complicated now. And as soon as it's complicated, it's not as enjoyable. So that's probably a little bit of a lesson for us to take forward into future punters clubs as well.
Yeah, mate, good point. Dan, have you got anything finally on the Punters Club, mate, before I start ripping into how good it was at the dogs and the harness?
No, mate, nothing more to add really, apart from we'll be back, and the next one will be the greatest ever. And I guess lastly, if your intention is to come into here to make lots of money and not for the value of the product and going along for the ride, then definitely don't put your money in. Just bet it yourself, because we're gonna go again. We're gonna have a crack. We're not going to change the way that we do things. We're going to have a go at horses, and we're going to spend the money because we want to win. It's like go big or go home. That's the whole idea of it. We want to, and it'll come off. It'll probably come off in Karaka Million.
Nice, mate. I hope so. I think lastly from me, just thank you to all the positive people and to all the people who, do kick their coin in. You rest assured, you have my word. We're not deliberately trying to lose people's money and shit like that. I got no interest in that. I got 1,000 other things I could be doing that are a lot more valuable with my time than trying to lose other people's money. But, there are a lot of amazing people that we get to meet through this, and we get to hang out with, have a beer with, have a bet with, bump into, whether it's at a cafe, at the races, at a pub, or at the airport, on the plane. And that's what it's actually about, and the connections and the memories and the community. And yeah, the sort of weeds can sneak into a punters club, and they can kind of take the oxygen from all the positive stuff that does happen as well. So just a massive thank you to people who reached out and who were thankful and understand that there's a lot more to it than just kind of, people turning up and putting some bets on. There is a lot of work that goes into trying to do something like that. And I think, one of my favorite messages, a mate just basically messaged and says, shit, win, lose, or, draw for you guys. Not many people have been able to build what you guys have put together. So always big props from me. And that's, sums it up. It's a pretty cool message to get. So we'll go again. We will rebuild and we turn the page, and we're about to find some winners for this week.
The bounce back factor, my understanding, that's what we call it. The bounce back factor of the Karaka Millions. That's going to be sensational. Well said, Luke. There's some fantastic comments coming through at the moment. And I've said it a few times this week. Thanks to you and the lads who have all, spent a lot of time doing the form and making the bets. Might not have gone our way this time around, but it was a great effort, mate. And I certainly had a lot of fun. I know Dan did. I know thousands of people out there did as well. Before we get to the bets this week, because we will talk about the Counties Bowl, which is an awesome race, the Counties Cup, the Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes. We'll have a chat about that and then get to our best bets. Just the events that we went to there. Thanks very much to everybody that turned up to those as well. The Dogs was probably a bit of a quieter night, but it was a really entertaining night. The racing on the track was awesome, and there were some really, really cool people there. Some people really enjoyed themselves. One maybe didn't, but that doesn't matter. And the harness on Friday, despite the bets, and I couldn't fucking find a winner myself. The people around, there was a really, really great group of people, and to see those people coming from outside of Auckland. I know we had a big group from Palmy that you know well, and a few others that had travelled there to be there. That was awesome, Dan?
Mate, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really good. I thought that we had, a pretty good group of people for a Thursday night, considering basically that whole room up top was all, all BGP people. That's pretty cool that we're able to go do that at a dog event. That was probably the second or third time that I'd ever been to the Dogs. And I had a great time. It's a great viewing platform. And yeah, I think there's nothing really more to say about it. I had a good time. I went terrible on the punt there. I couldn't pick my nose. I backed some of the ones that the lads did and got winners on those, but then lost on every other race. It was but I still had a good time.
Now, a lot of fun, mate. Dan, I think you need to get Flynn's comment up. That's the absolute comment of the bloody year. That is brilliant and funny. I'll move. I'll move us on, because we've also had some big news today from Ted that he is going to stop providing his full race previews. And I probably picked poor words there, but he's done that for a long time now. That's literally how I met Ted, and part of the story of BGP2 is I sort of tried to explain to Ted. I remember calling him actually when I was in a flat in Lake Road in Auckland, and I'm like, mate, like we need to get these best bets into BGP, and explaining it to him, and we started posting his best bets on, with his permission, and then Ted sort of become part of the community, and then we started trying to, use Ted's full selections and get them wider to people, and then built the app around that as well. And Ted had sort of flagged with me some time ago that, he wanted to try and hit a milestone, and I don't know how he does it. Like I said to him today when I had a call with him, mate, you do more than like 3 people your age combined. And like most people are trying to retire. I'm like, you're just doing more stuff. So, I think if you haven't seen the post, then go and find that post with Ted, saying that the full previews will be finishing on the 6th of December. So hopefully he'll find plenty of winners for us before then, but he's still going to do some best bets, and he won't be able to help himself. He'll like horses around the traps, and we're looking forward to getting those. And I think if anything, it's going to make it more special, because we're going to miss those selections so much. And I think people are going to realize how much he's done for racing in this country, and for people having a bet, and for BGP and the community. And when he tips something, we're just going to go roaring into it, like, right, I am on, Ted's back. So it could be really fun to watch play out. But yeah, I really want to celebrate Ted at the Kanaka Millions if you are coming along. So I joked and said maybe we'll do a statue at Te Aroha, but we'll definitely be doing something. And Ted's, he's one of those guys where you want to do something for him and he'll say, no, I don't want anything. But yeah, he won't ever say we'll have to do something for the great man, because he's done a lot for the community and for racing. So yeah, start thinking about what that could be.
Maybe we could have a chat to the TAB and see if we can get his promotions back, so he gets bonus back to run a number 4, to race 4 or something. See if we can pull some strings.
Yeah, maybe we could have like a regular Ted boost weekly or something. Who knows? We'll come up with something. But
just what a great human as well. I love it at the race events where we do actually get to see him, and he's carrying around all his tips too, and you can just bowl up and go, fuck Ted, what do we got this race? And he's got all 4 of them ready to go, and he'll explain to you why. And he absolutely loves it. And he doesn't bet massively, does he, Ted? But you can see him riding every single horse home because he wants to get it right for the community. Yeah. He loves it when he gets it right, because he knows there's a whole bunch of people out there that have nailed some cash, and that's the driver for him. You see him, you watch him. He's so fired up about it. It's just, I love it.
Yeah, and he was texting me on Saturday after, we had a crack at Herbert and a couple of others, and he's just like, he's gutted, but he's got no real concept to our degree of the amount of messages and stuff and the abuse that we're copying. He's just genuinely gutted, and gutted for everyone, and gutted because he's done so much work and thinking like, oh, this could win here, but look, it doesn't always happen. But man, he has made a lot of people a serious amount of cash. So thank you to Ted.
It'd be hard to quantify, wouldn't it? But I'd love it if the TAB in a year's time could come back and tell us, the drop in revenue or turnover for like midweek New Plymouth meetings, after Ted's tips, because I'm sure, I'm not going to know what to follow anymore. I don't have the time to look into it.
I'd say turnover will decrease. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I don't mean revenue. I mean turnover. That's what I mean.
Yeah. The turnover will decrease because just people will often we'll have a crack at something that he likes, and, the multis that people put through, but there will be best bets and the odds bet. So Ted will keep those coming through, but man, he's done a service to this industry. He's a great man.
Absolute legend, Ted. And he's going to have a couple for us later on. Shall we get into the races this week, lads?
Let's do it.
Are you going, Dan? Are you going out to the Counties Cup still?
Yeah, potentially. Just have to see what happens. Might be on kid duty.
Okay, all right. I thought it was your favourite race day of the year. So hopefully we find some winners if you're not going to be there. Let's get cracking on the Counties Bowl, lads. This is an awesome race. I always love this race. 1,100 metres. It's just a straight out sprint. And Jesus, what a field we've got showing up.
Yeah, we sure do. Who wants to kick us off? I'm sure one of you boys are very keen to rip into this.
I'm not, so happy with your dad.
What a lineup. Crocetti coming back after, I guess, maybe somewhat of a disappointing last start when there was so much expectation. Waitak, I think, was really good last start. Babylon Berlin, great win last start. Sacred Satono back again as well. Carmen Line, God, that horse knows how to come over the top of them and kick your head in when you don't expect it, doesn't it? Shoes, really impressive at Ellerslie last start as well, beating a really hot field. This is a big step up, though, for Shoes, but like really beat up a good field last start. But in this whole field, I think I'm just sticking with Luberon. There's going to be a Noble Snowball this weekend, and I've picked out 3. And all 3 of them are going to win, and Luberon is going to be the first of them.
Absolutely love that. Love that. Look at the money for Luberon already as well. I think it's been so impressive in these last 2 wins, $3.60 into $2.90. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see 1 or 2 scratchings out of this race too, where they just go, you know what, like this probably isn't for us. So we might only end up with sort of 7 of these running, maybe, maybe we'll find out. But I thought Babylon Berlin was pretty good first up. This horse, is okay-ish second up. It's only won 1 from 7, but it's raced in behind some pretty handy horses. I really like Sacred Satono, and it's good first up. And yeah, it's a shame that it's drawn out in barrier 9 there, but it might not be too much of an issue. But I hope that this horse can have a good campaign where it just stretches out and is the real deal. But yeah, 7.5 out to 8.5, a little bit scary there. I think we know that Crescetti can get beat now. But, first up, 4 from 4, 3 from 3 at the distance. It's pretty hard to get off of a horse like that, right? But I wouldn't be worried at all about, its fitness or anything like that. I think they know how to get the horse ready. But now that we know it can get beaten, I think it's like, oh, do we hop off? But I'd say that's why the punters have taken the 3.6 around Luberon with the lighter weight and with how speedy it is. But the way that it won last start for me, like I just have to be on. You can't. Yeah, that was an amazing watch. So I'm going to stick with Luberon.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. But in the words of Stephen Hunt, it's a no bet race for me.
Imagine Stephen Hunt running a punters club. Oh my!
You'll never bet all day, would you? I like Luberon at the weight. I reckon, 53 kgs. Babylon, Berlin, Crocetti, and Luberon, I all want to see race well because I think that they're probably 3 horses that could actually do pretty well over in Australia. Keen to see how Crocetti and Babylon Berlin go because Babylon Berlin went really well first up last start and then sort of started blowing out a little bit last campaign, didn't it? But we know that it was nearly up to Imperatrice a couple of seasons ago. So that horse is really, really good. And Crocetti for old mate Daniel Narclay, it'd be good to see him going well. But yeah, for me, Luberon, I'd be on as well. That was so good last time. Right, race 8, lads, the Counties Cup. We've got a field up if you guys are watching as well. Geez, Luke's following the looking at the form as we go. This is an awesome race, eh? There's some old BGP favourites in here, Luke.
Yeah, there certainly are. There's a few that we've been keeping an eye on recently with Kalliar for Rasher as well. Wolfgang. Hey, we got it beat last start, didn't we?
We did.
On Melbourne Cup Day and behind Al Vencedor. But it was a pretty good run and there was a fair bit of money on. And look, the money goes on again, 3.9 into, 3.3. I was surprised to see no compromise having another run. And yeah, got 4th last start in that same race, but got to carry the 60 kilos, always making it tough for this horse. But this is a very, very tricky field. And I kind of thought Jolted might start in this, which then led me into finding something earlier in the day. But I don't think it would be making the field. But I was pretty impressed with how Sassy Lass went last start. And I wonder if this horse has got a little bit of X factor that it's worth having a cracker at those odds. But 13's out to 14s. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good quote. I mean, the Odyssey.
I asked if you.
Obviously, the Odyssey. Yeah, if it wins last start, surely it is favourite and shorter. But yeah, do we forgive it? What do you reckon, Dan? I know we were pretty forgiving last start when we were watching. Do we let it go around?
No, I absolutely forgive the Odyssey, 100%. That was a tough run last start. I go again.
Nice, yeah. I'm gonna, especially at those odds, like $7. Yeah, I have to have an each way play. It loves 2100 meters, and I think we can sort of forgive the last start. We got Courtney Barnstormer on. Let's see this horse let down nicely again, and hopefully we can get paid.
Dan, are you on the Odyssey?
Yeah, I am on the Odyssey. I went off Wolfgang a little bit just because when they brought it back from Australia, it was supposed to go to the paddock. That was the plan, but apparently it was like bucking and squealing, and so they'd brought it back in, and it obviously ran a good second. But I just wonder, like this is obviously wasn't their first plan, maybe not even their second plan, and then it sort of turned out to be another way that they've gone, and I just wonder maybe not being 100% set for this race is that the right way to go. I think it might be the best horse in the race, Wolfgang. Like definitely ran pretty well last start, and I'm not sure how many of these other horses would have done the same thing, but I think I'll just stick with the Odyssey. I think we get $7 and $2.50. It's going to get a good run from that barrier draw, and it gets a lightweight, and I think it will be right in the finish. Matty, I guess you're with Nereus.
I was actually just looking at Nereus thinking, it's not taking money, and thank goodness for that. Hey, God, you've got to get off that horse. It will win one at some point, but maybe not this season. I wanted to ask Luke, you might know a bit about this horse. Cognito pops up everywhere. I'm not thinking of it as a bet, but what are they doing with this horse? Because it always runs really well, and I'm like, okay, first time up to 2,000 meters.
Yeah,
is that telling us something?
I'd say they will know what they're doing. It was pretty good in behind. It was Wits End, wasn't it? On was it Melbourne Cup Day when we?
Yeah.
It's
up from 1,500 to 2,100 meters, and it's never run up at the distance, and it always finishes off really well.
Yeah, and it feels like it's just starting to sort of get to that peak fitness. So maybe this has been the whole plan over the whole time, is to get it up over ground. And I mean, it's a pretty nice race to target. So yeah, drawn out in barrier 15, a little bit sticky. But hey, maybe 53 kilos. If it puts everything forward, then yeah, is it good enough? Guess we find out Saturday.
We will find out. I'm keen on Kelly Alfarasha. I think you mentioned Sassy Lass has got the X Factor. I reckon this horse has got X Factor, eh? And this is coming out of, I think it's 4 years old now, maybe 5 years old. Every single one of its runs has been so good. It blew them away first up. I can't remember exactly where it was. Second up at Tarapa, it just missed by a nose over 1,600 meters, and it was absolutely booming home down the outside. All of its starts, it's finished so strong. I reckon this could be a really, really, really good horse and might just blow these off the field. So it's not a field, is it? It's a racetrack. So let's see.
Nice.
First up, it beat Livid Sky, remember? At Ellerslie.
It did. Yeah, and easily. And then second up, it just got quite far back and just missed by a nose coming down the outside. Third in the Oaks last year. Yeah, so that's right. It's a 4-year-old. Could be a very good horse. Let's see. Right, race 9, the Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders Stakes. And Dan, I know we all like one in here, but you particularly like one this week, mate.
Yeah, I do really like one in here, but it's also man, it's a deep field, eh? Like there's some star power in this. I don't remember the last time there was a Breeders Auckland Thoroughbred Breeders Stakes with this sort of quality field. Like up the top of the book, you've got La Creek, Campionessa, outstanding horse. Heyo Sassbomb went real good last start. Was that second in the Arrowfield, maybe? No, it was behind Snazzy Tavi. Sorry.
Anything that comes within 3 lengths of Snazzy Tavi is a fucking Group 1 winner.
No, that's gee whiz, that's pretty good form. But stepping back from 2,000 meters back to the 1,400, you got Farrelleone as well coming out of hot fields behind One Bold Cat and Grail Seeker. I mean, there's just a stack of chances in here. I thought Churchillian second up as well was potentially a chance. I thought that went pretty average first up, but it's never been a horse that's gone really well first up. I think that'll get better maybe third up. This Moriteri Molly, this thing just keeps winning, eh? Last start on the heavy track just won with a leg in the air. But after going through all of those really good horses, I think Jaffe is a very, very good horse. Look, it's only won 4 races overall. But I think this horse is destined for much greater things. Its turn of foot at Pukekohe last start was something to be admired, and I reckon Warren Kennedy would get this horse in the right place. It's already taken money, $6 into $5.50. I reckon that this horse will probably start closer to $4 on the day, and I think that it'll be too good and boom down the outside.
Nice, mate. Yeah, that win at Ellerslie when it was the blessed bet for the punters out there, $5.50 or $5 was it into dollars?
That was another good one. Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Looking forward to seeing how Reputation goes in this race. $26. Now it actually goes all right. Second up, doesn't mind Pukekohe as well, and the distance. This is a big step up for Reputation, but the Christopher Grace colours there. They raced Shillelagh, and there was a horse by I Am Invincible out of Shillelagh that topped the ready to run sales, selling for $1.6 million.
Crazy, eh?
We thought we were taking a risk of $250,000 on Saturday. People out there buying a horse for $1.6 million. So yeah, good on. I mean, and I was just thinking about that too. With the filly that we backed in the Guineas, like we bump into Forsman after, and like that's the whole prep is anchored around winning that 1,000 guineas, and it's like, the horse over race, she didn't really, it's just, it is what it is. Like, this is tough, man. Like, wow, that's, everybody's taken a lot of risk, in this game. So anyway, this race, I'm not surprised to see La Creek smashed into 2.7 so early. I see it's back out to 2.8. This horse second up, look at this. 6 starts, 4 wins, and a second and a third. So 6 from 6. Now, barrier 14, though, going to have to do a little bit of work. So could that potentially be the undoing? But you're starting to see a lot of these similar form lines, right? Like horses like Wits End and like Creek and whatnot that are all popping up. And even Snazzy Tabby popping through these form lines. But I hope Dan's onto one here. I hope that Jaffe can sort of back it up and do it for the punters again. But it looks like the early money has said, nah, you know what, I'm backing La Creek. Interested to see Campionessa sticking to 1,400 meters. Like, this horse actually goes pretty good at 1,400 meters, winning 50% of its starts at that, and loves Pukekohe. And what do we know? In behind, Snazzy Tabby. So that was with 4.5 lengths. So if it was within 3 lengths, it'd be a Group 1 winner. But I believe Campionessa could be that good. So I can see why the bookies have got it that short. For me, that's pretty short. But, before that too, it was beat by Wild Knight. Wild Knight goes to Australia. Yep. That's a sort of horse that could win, and you go, oh shit! Like, how did I miss that? But yeah, like Dan said, this is a very deep race. You got to back something. Everyone's going to forget about Farrellione, given that it was, no good last start. But check this shit out. Second up, it's no good. Third up, bang, 3 from 4.
Oh, man, I didn't even see that horse in there, eh?
Yeah, so drawn from 13, all on board. Like, you're going to have to be on your game to find the winner of this.
So is this a Stephen Hunt race for you?
No, mate, I'm having a Quinella race,
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm having a Quinella race. End it. I'm a happy boy. Yeah. So I'll be putting a couple into a box, Quinella, and I think I'll be looking at Campionessa. I'll be laying La Creek because I'm a sicko, but that's probably running second or third. I'm hoping for third. Jaffe, and then maybe I get a little blowout with a horse like Farrellione.
Nice, mate. We've named just about every horse.
The only thing I seen with La Creek, which made me go really confidently for Jaffe, was she's a little bit thin on the 1,400 meter stats, like 7 starts for 2 wins. And so that's what made me go, okay, cool. Like, she's definitely much better at 1,600. So yeah, that gave me a little bit more confidence.
Dan, to round us out, where you go, mate?
Dan's gone, mate. I'll go.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah. You've really confused me here.
Yeah, sorry.
You guys both have really confused me.
I opened the treasure chest, didn't I?
Oh, mate, I was really keen on La Creek. I don't know. I think La Creek might be back, and they've always promised a lot of this horse, and this is the second season now where they've just given it a little bit of a slower start into the season. waited for those soft tracks to be gone and start out on the good tracks. Didn't win first up, but I think Ted had spoken to the trainer who had said not really expecting too much first up, just a good run, and it was a good run. I thought in preview was also really good behind Babylon Berlin. That horse beat Mercurial on Boxing Day at Pukekohe last year, and Mercurial went on to win the Telegraph, I think, wasn't it? And then third in the Railway or something like that too. So I think this is quite a good horse. But then when you mention all the other ones, it's like far out. It's really hard to pick. So I hope Jaffe goes well. But yeah, I'll probably have a bit on Buck Creek. Don't know, mate. There's a lot of horses there, right? Far
Good
out.
man. You got to back yourself.
All right, let's have a look at some comments quickly before we move on. Some people's best bets. Campionissa wins the $5. Are very appealing. Nice. Race 2, Phantom Dragon is in there. We've got Lux Libertas, bit of Hio, Sassbomb, Crocetti. Someone made a comment here. Yeah, Warren Kennedy usually rides Luberon, but is on Crocetti this week. That might just be because of the weight, eh? Because 53 kgs would be pretty light for him, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure, what the exact answer is there, but who is riding Luberon?
Joe Doyle,
Joe Doyle,
I think I saw.
Yeah.
Well, also Crocetti's a Group 1 winner, isn't he? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you lads like this weekend? Have you had enough of a look through, or have you been struggling to bring yourself to do it?
No. Bloody don't you worry about me, mate. Pukekohe race number 5.
Oh,
You spot a horse down here, Arabian Songbird, taking all the money, and this horse has been very good the last couple of starts. But forget about it, because Kind Thoughts is in here.
yeah.
Holy shit.
This is a great race.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
850 out to 9s. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Look, I have to be on. I didn't think last start was that bad. So, this is, again, like it's going to have to be good, but I think maybe we get a good trip. We just need to get this horse out with a bit of clean air and get it home. But I thought Mars was pretty good last start as well,
down here.
in behind Shoes. But this has been impressive these last two, right? Like, I think we've been there to watch it win. Well, I've seen it win both times at Ellerslie and just gone, what? Like, that's unreal. But yeah, Kind Thoughts for me.
I feel like Dan's Noble Snowball might be in this race. Is
Oh,
that right?
sheesh.
no, it's not in that race. No, the Noble Snowball is actually one of your best bets from a couple of weeks ago, Matty. It's in race number 7.
Are you on Frost Fair?
Yeah. I think it's gonna go again. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad that given that confidence. I like that horse.
Yeah. So the Noble Snowball was Luberon to win, into Frost Fair, into Jaffe. Get you $79. $60 get you 4,785.
Nice, mate. Ted's just given us the word that Kennedy can ride down to 51 kg. So he's obviously chosen Crocetti. That is so light.
Yeah.
That is less than half of my weight. That's crazy.
I thought this last race of the day was going to be one of those ones where if you don't like Aladdin Sane, like I nearly made this my best bet, Aladdin Sane, but 60 kilos just sort of put me off. I could just see it late. Like, is it going to get picked up? So I couldn't do it to myself, but it'll be one of those races. If you can find the winner of that and it's not Aladdin Sane, then you are going to be minted because everything's paying a pretty good quote. But it's actually like a really good card of racing, isn't it?
It's massive fields. I found it really hard to find a best bet. I know there's going to be quite a lot of horses come out, but there's just so many horses to go through. Ted's actually texted us today with one which is racing tomorrow. So make sure you get it on your accounts now. It's She's Unstoppable, $3.60 in Taranaki, race 2. Ted reckons that can give you a good fill-up leading into the weekend as well. Look at that. It's a first starter from Stephen Marsh. Did you ask him about that on Saturday night, mate?
Marshy didn't tell me about this one. He did not. So, yeah, She's Untouchable. Okay. There was a $160,000 purchase from Book 1. I was asking about my horse. I'm like, come on, mate. Like, when are we getting this to the track?
And he's got so many horses going around at the moment, eh? It must be hard to keep up for him, to be honest.
I was hoping we owned this one, but he said that our one was called She's Untrainable. So I don't know what he meant by that. But
outstanding.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Anything else from you, Dan, in terms of what you like this weekend?
No, mate. No. I've had a bit of a quiet week looking at ones on the punt there. Frost Fair was the only other one. No doubt, like Saturday will come around and I'll have a punt.
Mate, it's your home track. You'll definitely have a punt.
Hey, don't forget Golden in the last race at Whanganui.
Yep.
Race number 9, our best bet from last weekend, and it it got scratched, but they take it all the way down.
Good point.
So $3.80, I believe you're getting on the odd surge.
Can we have a look at Whanganui race 3 as well to see if Swain's Day is still lining up? I'm not sure if it's going to win this race because it's drawn barrier 15. Yeah, it is still lining up there. $3.50 favourite. I reckon this is a really good horse. I was almost going to make it my best bet, but I was just a bit worried about barrier 15. So still have a bet on it. I see Fancy Pants is in there as well. No doubt that'll come out and win this week, eh? Oh, goodness. And yeah, Pukekohe race 5. That's going to be a fantastic race. That had Livid Sky in it as well. I actually wondered whether Mars could win that at $14, that race 5.
Okay.
It's been going pretty well, so that'll be a good run. Elad's going to be on It's a Wild Night, Cranbourne, race 9 on Saturday.
What did we say? We said it would be best bet. There are rumours that this is why Ted is retiring from tipping as well, because he's finally had Wild Night as his best bet on top. I think first time in 14 on starts, and we talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
and it's kicked their heads in. He's ticked off just about everything he can, and we said, look, this horse could be packing its bags and heading off to see Sans Dute. I believe that's exactly what's happened. They have taken the horse to Australia for a crack. So, yeah, good luck to the owners of Wild Night. Those WN caps will be here, there, and bloody everywhere. I would imagine if that horse is winning. So I really hope that it can do the job. I haven't had a look and seen.
$5 favourite.
Wow, there you go.
You're getting $2 a place. Barrier 4, Blake Shin, 54.5 kilos as well. Shit, that's not bad.
If the Noble Snowball comes in for me, I'll dive into that big time.
Nice, mate. The Noble Snowball being Jaffe, Frostfair, Luberon. Fantastic. All right. Should we get to the best bets and wrap things up, lads?
Let's do it.
Let's kick off at the harness. Dan, do you want to give us the harness halo and your best bet first up, mate?
Yeah, mate. The harness halo.
Go. Sorry.
Alexander Parker, race 5, a horse called Stone Cold. It's actually already come in. So it was, I think we had it $2.70 up to $3.50. Apparently the sharp punters and the good money's already come for it. So it's into $1.80, but we're now getting
what?
$2.70. It's now out to $3.50. What did I say it was before?
I think that's what you said, but then you said it's into $1.80.
Oh, something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the odds have changed. It's come in quite a bit. So I don't know exactly what the harness halo is now, but it's come in from where it was. I think originally we were getting $4.50. Now we might be getting $3.50 boosted. Yeah, sorry, I can't bring it up right now. But yeah, anyway, this horse called Stone Cold. It was actually really good last start. It galloped away. Probably not what you want to hear at the trots on a Friday night. But it lost quite a bit of ground and actually ended up catching up to the pack and ran home and only lost by like a neck or a head. Like it was a really small margin to the other horses. So over the 2,200 off the front, if it trots away here, this horse just should be winning. So Stone Cold race 5. It's also the harness halo. If you go to the futures part of the racing section, you can get the boosted option, max bet $100. Harness halo's back on track this week, lads.
It is going to be back on track, mate. Yeah, nice work. Fitzy's got a best bet there at Alexander Park as well. He's going race 7, Kiss and Run. Loves 2,200 meters. Gets in well in this field, only off 10 meters. First up run was good and expects fitness improvement. I'll go into Markham on Friday as well. Invercargill race 8, number 11, Captain Starlight. Pretty luckless in 2 runs back from a spell, especially at Winton on Sunday. Needs the right kind of run to unfold, but could have the final say here. Luke, Scamman's on Saturday at Timaru, mate.
He is going race number 4 at Timaru, Style Council. Now, not many councils are this styly, but they are also very good at spending money. But hopefully this horse will give you plenty of money to spend because things didn't go to plan on Cup Day. Previous form had been very consistent prior going for a spell. With a good run in transit, can be very competitive in this. So that's race number 4, Timaru on Saturday, Style Council.
Nice, mate. All right. I'll kick off best bets for Saturday, even though I'm in the last at Pukekohe. This horse was in race 2, actually, but it's now in race 10. A horse called Cinnamon. I liked this horse last season without it winning very much. It ran 5th in the Levin Classic within a length of Quintessa. It always seems to be finishing off very well. And first up at Ellerslie, over 1,400 metres. It was miles back at the corner, but managed to just miss by 2.5 lengths. If it's anything like that at Pukekohe on Saturday, second up, maybe a little bit of a query, but if it finishes like that on that massive runway of the track they've got, then should be getting over the top of them. I reckon it's some good odds.
Good man. I will take us to the GOATs because he is going to Whanganui in race number 2. So meeting for race 2, the big picture. Hey, look at the big picture, ladies and gentlemen. $7.50 trialled during the week after being late scratched at Riccarton on the first day. Do you reckon the GOAT might have been keeping his eye on this horse? Expect a bold showing for a very in-form stable. Nice and early in the day there for the punters to have the big picture salute.
Your best
Nice one. Yeah, mate. I'll take us to race number 9, and it might have been obvious earlier, but Jaffe is my best bet this week. We had a nice price to find out if this horse can take the step up to this sort of company. Killed them last time, now steps up to 1,400. Hopefully finds a bit of cover midfield and can just boom over them late down that big Pukekohe straight. Jaffe, $6 into $5.50, so there's money there for it.
Well, if you need some cash for that, you can get that in race number 4 at Pukekohe, which may be a bonus back race for some of you. Potentially, you want to check your accounts there. I believe not all of you, I've been told. So race number 4, we're going to back a horse called Doddle. You might have heard us mention this on the pod last start, that it was a very smoky and it was booming home, paying around 18s. Unfortunately, we're not getting 18s. We get barrier 18. But this horse is now third up to 2,100. This horse has beaten Snazzy Tavi.
Oh, wow.
What the actual fuck. Anyway, it's not a world beater, but it is a bit of a dawdler. But I think we can get this one home. It's won 3 from 18. It's third up, 2,100. Like I say, it was pretty impressive, ducking and weaving. The sectionals were outstanding. Hopefully, Stephen Marsh has got his training all worked out for this horse and lines it up in race number 4 to get us paid at a great quote of $8.50.
Nice, mate. You do always mention that horse when it's running, so I'm so glad you've made it a best bet. That's fantastic.
I typed up 2, and I had to go with Doddle.
I'm sure it's going to come home. Righto, Ted's best is the blessed bet this week. Ted has gone for Pukekohe race 3, a horse called Return to Conquer. And it's only paying $1.80, but we've boosted it out to $2.20, which Ted just thinks is unbelievable and worth loading up on. It's a Schnitzel colt having his first start, and the bookies certainly haven't missed him, opening him at $2 Wednesday afternoon. The winner of all 3 of his trials with the ladder, a Facile win at Waipā 3 weeks ago. He certainly looks pretty smart, and a winning debut will be no surprise. 1 to boost the one weekend multis, and 1 to boost as the blessed bet too. Boosted out from $1.80 to $2.20. It's going to return to Conquer, much like the Punters Club at Karaka Millions in January.
Love that, mate. I just had to look up what facile actually means, and it says especially of success in sport, easily achieved, effortless. And I believe from memory that's Ted's middle name from his days of athletics. So that's maybe his nickname. So he's got a big rap on this horse, and it's shit. He was into the group chat nice and early saying, I'm getting my best bet in. He was putting it in before we knew what race it was, what it was paying, if it was racing, what was going on.
He knew the name of the race, didn't he? But he didn't know what race or anything. It was just race 2. I'm glad you looked that up because I've seen that word before, but I don't know what it means.
No, I was more familiar with flaccid, but facile is great to learn about.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Look, Martin Jones is giving us a lot of love. You guys are hot.
You guys are hooters. Can you post your picks, please?
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Okay. Rackman, we'll wind it up there. And I think we've earned a well-deserved break next week, haven't we? We probably won't be back for a podcast next week. Is that right, Luke? Have we agreed to that? Or?
I'm not sure, but we can quickly have a look. And where are the races next week?
The races are at Ellerslie next week. I think there's the Bone Crusher and maybe one other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, I might give you a week off, mate, you know.
Sorry, I've just announced this to make it formal. But we'll, of course, have our best bets out there, won't we?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, they're racing at Ellerslie and Wanganui again. Okie dokie. The Great Northern Challenge Stakes. The Trevor Eagle Memorial's on next.
Bone Crusher, is it?
Yeah, look, we'll have a look. We'll see how we go. But, yeah, I think I might have a wedding. Oh, I got a wedding coming up in a couple of weeks. Anyway, there's a bit on. We're getting to that time of year. Of course, we've got the Twilight at Ellerslie coming up soon too.
What day?
What day? Is it
I
the
think it's the
19th?
12th. No, the 12th, I
12th.
think.
Oh, that's really quite soon, isn't
Yeah,
it?
12th
That's
of
quite
December.
exciting.
That's very exciting. Yep. No, we're looking forward to that. So we're doing a podcast live from the track, I believe you've jacked up, Rackman.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So we're going to be live in the Winning Post bar. And hopefully we're going to weave it in so that we can start maybe, like amongst the races. Hopefully we'll be able to watch some races, from there as well. Maybe give out a few winners, hopefully.
Brilliant. All right, mate. Well, let's bring it on. Of course, we've got the Karaka Millions coming up in January. The ticket link is live, and we've got the Kiwi in March. So those are our next 2 race days to start getting excited about. As always, we're working on little things for those race days to make them enjoyable. So we'll keep people posted on that as we get closer. But summer racing is here, boys. Exciting stuff. It starts getting back-to-back over that holiday period. Hopefully we can find some winners for the punters out there.
Absolutely. Fantastic times. Thanks very much to everybody for joining. Rackman, thanks for joining us from Karaka, mate. Good on you. Looking sharp down there. And thanks for hosting at the Next Advisory Beer Garden studio, Luke. Appreciate it.
Not a beer in sight, mate. Otherwise, Sally on social media would be complaining about how we don't care and we're getting on the piss for 3 days or something. So anyway, we turn the page.
We do. Awesome. Thanks very much, everybody out there. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you next time.